Okay, I think that's working. Yeah, so I really wanted to record a video from a nice, clean location. And, this is what I found. This is like I think it's an art gallery in the background. It's closed. And I don't know, I feel like it's always a great way, like recording, it's always a great way to see where I am energetically. Um, how my channels are operating as well in terms of information, in terms of what I'm saying. And that's why we're here. So I've seen a lot, I've felt a lot, I've learned a lot. There yet some misperceptions, and there is also a lot of evil shit that has affected me and that yet tries to affect me. And when I say like evil shit, I'm not saying like there's like a demonic being who is there and is trying to attack me or something. But it's just in terms of patterns that I see myself yet repeating and that I'm trying to move away from. So codependency was a big thing for me. And I've talked about that in another video. I talked about how I feel like more aligned right now with myself and less dependent on emotional attachments. And yet, this need to survive puts me on dark patterns, on what I would say evil shit. Because some people are naive and they take advantage of my kindness, of my innocence, of my um, current need. And that's not really um, what it actually is gonna free me. Like even when these people come up and they want to help out and so forth. So I felt like the last few days were super busy for me, and I got to this point where I was like, wow, it feels amazing to get what I want. I'm really getting it. It feels nice. Like I'm really understanding, what does it mean to be in a city um with people I don't know, with people where I am getting to know, and I'm sort of like being part of a community, a network. And what does it mean to be part of this network in terms of like how you gravitate towards them, how you help one another? Because ultimately, that's what life is about. And sorry if you think my monkey pose it's annoying and it's like giving you some crazy intriguing thoughts. Um, but like ultimately it's about being part of a community where this matchmaker, right, which we call God, it's always like, pairing up things, pairing up scenarios. Sometimes you are a match for negativity and then you get into a fight. That's just because you were available. And like God will catch you when you're available. That its opposite force will do that too. So how you stay more in that bright side as opposed to be a sponge for negativity or as supposed to be a match for negativity. It's called being aware at all times. So it's almost as if you could never leave this thing alone. Like this thing in you, like you can see as a diamond that is like the once was really bright and perfect. And now it's got, some details that are out of place or need a little bit of more repairing. So that piece was once perfect and now, like I said, needs more clearing, needs more polishing. And the moment you turn away from that aspect of you, you see yourself lost. You see as if you've lost something, as if you've given that away to someone else. And I found challenging for me, like to manage like my life, my work, the things I do, and yet make sure that aspect of me is fully there. It's clear, it's present, it's it's love. Because I was always like a match for the dark forces and the positive, like and the positive forces, like the bright forces. I don't think that's even to say. Like, um, so as I've like felt like entangled, a lot in like what to do, who to do this with, where, when, I found myself like giving up of knowing the answers for all of this because I was just like, fuck. And I would just hear the voice of God saying, like, you gotta let go of all these concepts because this is also um bringing you further from the truth. And maybe because when I start talking about it, I become it. And that's what disconnects me from the truth. But if I was talking about it from that place of being and wasn't so bogged down with all these concepts, it would be much more clean, peaceful, soothing to the peace of everyone. And now I'm seriously like, okay, I like the idea of having ideas. I like the fact that when I let go of thinking and figuring things out, life just rearranges itself. Like if I need to eat, obviously I can wait a little bit, but I also don't need to wait for too long until life rearranges itself and puts me at a place of like, there it is. Now I am here eating. Because that's the thing, right? When you realize you have this much force and you have this much power, and your power sometimes is limited, and sometimes your power it feels like it's unlimited because it really is. But at the same time, if you had unlimited power, I don't know if you'd be able to manage it. Like, do you trust yourself enough to feel like unlimited and be able to really do anything you want? Because you realize with everything you do, there are also consequences. So that's probably why, we don't give ourselves too much of that power. Just like the right amount, the amount that is needed to continue to flow. Even as a mechanism of protection, also, because you understand what I mean, right? Like mechanism of protection, because when people see other people powerless, they don't try to take from them. But when they see someone who seems to be powerful, of course they want to gravitate towards them because they see that there's something to take from them. And sometimes like feeling like nobody really brings me at ease. It's like I don't have a lot of people saying all these crazy things about like, oh, you're awesome, you're doing this and that. And I understand why, right? Because the moment there is like a server and a master, the server is worshiping the master and it forgets of its own master. It's just, placed at that position of server and it's doing what it's supposed to do to fill that space of, oh my gosh, I like videos of that place of server, right? But then when the master switches also to the position of server, he needs to learn how to dance. And that's what it is about. We've been learning how to essentially dance in both sides, at a server and at a master place. So life is good. I have a lot of people in my head, and I remember there were times before where there was way more noise. That was like my head was like much louder before. Like I was like, my head would go like this person, this person, this person. I would not be able to see what was happening subconsciously. And I feel like now, as I'm working my way to simplify my life, my circle of friends, by limiting my abilities of my hobbies, not limiting my abilities, but limiting my hobbies, I get to feel more at ease, more like okay with being here now. Yeah, like appreciating moments like this where it's not me like going from thing to thing versus me just here taking my time and taking a little longer as I deliver the message and as I share what I mean to share. Feels good. Um, but I know it's scary for a lot of people not knowing what's next. Just like with talking, especially when you talk to someone who makes you feel nervous because of what? Because of the idea that you have of this person in your head. Like there are some people in my mind, yeah, that is just a concept that I never got to know the person, but I just got to know the concept and I was sold on the concept of that person, like hot teacher. Ooh, a hot teacher. Or someone who plays many instruments. And because I've always wanted to learn how to be better at playing instruments, this could also be like a hit, in terms of magnifying the importance of this person or this concept. Because the person is also a concept, right? Like the character you build for yourself becomes eventually like this shiny object or not that people are gravitating towards. They want to touch it, they want to hold it, they want to taste it, they want to feel it. So to me, like with Soira, like, right, she is this kind of like beach diva. She's always on the beach, different places on the beach. She's going wherever there is a beach. And she wears this cute bikinis. And she likes butterflies. There's one more spinning around that I'm watching right now. So cute. And she loves to sing. She enjoys solitude, deeper conversations. I mean, I don't know. I'm just telling you out loud some of the main characteristics of this character, right? But she obviously loves social media. She loves to eat. She loves to like share fun things about like cute, happy moments, and it's all about happiness. But she doesn't show like her dark side ever. Like the more intellectual aspect of her is not really into place on Instagram. So he was placed into a different character that is sort of like me right now, channeling from this both sides, right? From like Ram Maria and from Soira. And that is more like that wisdom aspect of my side that appreciates very much when someone is talking, other people respect and they can be, mindful because they see that there's someone in camera, and even though they have to walk around, they figure out a way. At least that's what I do. I feel like life is being really kind to me when it comes to the mirrors, like, the beings who sort of travel across in my screen. um they're becoming more mindful, right? That there are consequences, and the more negative shit we do, like the more karma we have ahead. So why not just to become so mindful and so crystal clear about like our actions or thoughts or feelings and love ourselves more, because it's all about that. You want to learn how to love yourself more. I know I just jumped from talking about Soy Rara Maria to this because somebody was literally trying to get on my screen. And it's my screen now because I decided to. When I want to make it my show, it's going to be my show. I've been a passenger, I've been a watcher of a lot of people's shows for a long time, and I don't mind doing that. when I have to, because I know I'm learning. But when I get to be the star of my own show, let me fucking do my thing. Because I know how to do it without anyone interfering. So, hope there are no mosquitoes here. Um, Speaking of mirror again, that comes up the Life is a Mirror show that is gonna be blending both sides, Soira and Rap Maria, to it. And yeah, we're gonna talk about everything. Like it's almost gonna be like a diary for me, because with my music, this is what's happening. Like moving forward, I want to focus on a particular format of songs and lyrics. And instead of just talking about like the different chapters I was going through and the heartbreaks and so forth, I want to be able to just focus on the podcast for Life as a Mirror, like where I choose one topic and I dive into it based on what I'm going through. And that's probably gonna lead into attracting some people who are also going through the same thing, which is good because they can connect to me, we can share ideas and like how we were able to overcome things together. Um, so yeah, the first episode, I don't know, I'm not sure yet when it's gonna come up, but it's coming up soon. What else? Like I was telling you earlier, getting more comfortable with not knowing what's next. Like this. Like, what if I was actually live to everyone? I want to be able to do this more often. Like, I'm literally just going to be live. I have no clue over what I'm about to say. I've done that before many times, and actually, that led into chaos because I was nervous. And by being nervous, that led me to project from that place of anxiety instead of surrendering. And it's like I'm learning how to surrender that aspect of me, and then life puts me in front of someone to really, really test me. Even though it is like someone who I'm not really like dying for, like sexually. Like because the aspect of me it's so aware of the truth. I feel like that aspect of me is like taking over more and more the aspect of me that is not fully aware yet of the big picture, that aspect that is just like sold on the concept of that person. Getting back to the idea again of like, you like human beings love to fall in love with things more than the things for how they are, because they are obsessed with their minds. That's why the devil takes over, because the mind is an addiction. So when you are pulled towards going to a place that is being talked about, like, oh, Bahamas, oh my gosh, the Bahamas is like a place that, you know, is considered is considered to have like the most beautiful beaches around, and like, it's like that's masturbating your mind. And you understand that when you're masturbating your mind, it's basically like you feeding the devil. You're feeding like concepts, you're feeding things that don't exist. That's why God has a really, really small crowd. And a lot of people who worship God, they actually worshiping the devil, and they think God is the devil, like the one that is actually shit. This is probably gonna be cut of this video. Well, what I mean is like a lot of people, they think they worship God, but they actually worship their minds. They actually worship the voice of the mind, the ego. And that aspect could be considered